OPR discipline fact patterns usually fit into 4 buckets. On the EA exam, your job is to classify the behavior fast. Ask, did it happen during IRS representation, on the practitioner's own taxes, in a written or oral tax opinion, or outside IRS practice entirely, like a criminal conviction? Once you know the bucket, the likely consequence questions get much easier. Bucket 1 is misconduct while representing a taxpayer before the IRS. Think lies, obstruction, or trying to work the IRS employee. Circular 230 is blunt here. False statements to the IRS and undue influence are discipline magnets. Real-life example. A practitioner offers a bribe to an examiner to win an audit. That's not aggressive advocacy. That's OPR action and potentially criminal exposure. Bucket 2 surprises people. Your own tax compliance. You can do great work for clients and still get disciplined because you don't file or pay your own taxes. The exam loves this because it feels personal, but it's professional conduct. Example, an enrolled agent files late repeatedly, then stops filing for 3 years and ignores OPR notices. That's misconduct related to the practitioner's own returns. Bucket 3 is giving a false tax opinion, knowingly, recklessly, or through gross incompetence. This is where Circular 230 gets very standards-based. It's not only intentional fraud. If you're grossly incompetent, like ignoring obvious law, failing to research, or blessing a shelter with no basis, OPR can sanction you. On the exam, watch for words like reckless, knew, or should have known. Bucket 4 is misconduct not directly involving IRS representation. The big one is criminal conduct. Example, a CPA is convicted of felony wire fraud in a real estate scheme. Even if it's not tax, it's disreputable conduct, and OPR can move fast, expedited suspension or disbarment. Another exam favorite, failure to respond to an OPR complaint can be treated as an admission, letting discipline proceed without a hearing. 2 quick edge rules show up in questions. First, if you're disbarred, you generally can't practice before the IRS, but you may still represent yourself, and you may represent certain related parties in a fiduciary capacity, like as a legal guardian or trustee. Second, you can't employ or accept assistance from a disbarred practitioner. If your employee gets disbarred, you must cut them off from IRS practice work. Finally, remember how OPR often learns about misconduct, referrals. IRS employees can be required to report practitioner issues they spot, like a preparer tied to an abusive shelter that wasn't disclosed. For the exam, that means you should expect fact patterns where the IRS agent notes the preparer's name and PTIN and sends a report to OPR. That's how the discipline pipeline starts. A Circular 230 practitioner must, when requested by the Office of Professional Responsibility, provide OPR with any information he or she may have regarding a violation of Circular 230 regulations by any person. When is the practitioner not required to provide that information? The options include withdrawing from representation, privilege, and whether the request is of doubtful legality. Think about it. The correct answer is, when the practitioner believes in good faith, the information is privileged and the request is of doubtful legality. That combination is the exception. A tempting wrong choice is privilege alone, because privilege is a big deal. But Circular 230 frames the exception as privilege and doubtful legality together in this question's wording. On the EA exam, look for the good faith and doubtful legality language. Which of the following is an offense that could lead to practitioner sanctions by OPR under Circular 230? The choices are phrased as gross something: gross negligence, gross incompetence, gross delinquency, and gross recklessness. Which one is actually recognized in Circular 230 language? Think about it. The correct answer is gross incompetence. Circular 230 specifically allows censure, suspension, or disbarment for incompetence and disreputable conduct, and gross incompetence is a tested phrase. A tempting wrong answer is gross negligence, because it sounds like a legal standard you've heard before, but it's not the Circular 230 term they're targeting here.